Namo bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Durlabhamanisho deho dehinam shana bhangurai. Tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshinaha. Gurve gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye. Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Jai Śrī Caitanya Prabhu Nityaṁ Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. Read this beautiful verse. Aradhayo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavana Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Varagena Vakalpita Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho mahan Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhur matamidam tatradarana paraha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Thank you so much for joining. So we are reading Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, Text 20. We read till Text 24 yesterday. Just to give a brief background, we were talking about how Kamsa, Ashru Mukha, the face was covered with Ashru or tears, and he was kind of blaming the destiny, he was sad, he was regretful, he was apologetic, but also blaming the destiny that I'm not really the doer or the slayer. And ultimately, whatever had to happen. So please, my dear sister, my dear brother-in-law, I'm not the real cause. So please don't have any, complaints or please don't take it so seriously. Let's move on. So we will move on to the next verse and see what happens next to Kamsa and the scene there. Bhratu samanutapattasya Bhratur samanutapattasya Shantarosha cha Devaki Vyasrajad Vasudevascha Prahasya tam uvach aha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhicharana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. When Devaki saw her brother actually repentant while explaining ordained activities, she was relieved of all anger. She was relieved of all the anger. Similarly, Vasudev was also free from anger. Smiling, he spoke to Kamsa as follows. Devaki and Vasudev, both highly elevated personalities, accepted the truth presented by Kamsa that everything is ordained by the providence. According to the prophecy, Kamsa would be killed by the 8th child of Devaki. Therefore, Vasudev and Devaki saw that behind these incidents was a great plan devised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the Lord had already taken birth just like a human child and was in safe custody of Yashoda, everything was happening according to plan, and there was no need to continue their ill feeling toward Kamsa. Thus they accepted Kamsa's words. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So here we see that great souls, they are easy to please. They don't harbor ill feelings towards others, especially for a long time. Sadhavo dina vatsalaha. Kamsa used these words in the text 23rd we read yesterday. But here we see that they easily Shanta Rosha. Shanta. Rosha means anger. Shanta means they were pacified. So they were relieved of the anger. Because what's the use of blaming the instrument of the karma, right? We discussed the example of the postman. If postman brings sad news, we don't shoot the messenger or the postman. At the same time, they also knew that Krishna, their child, the 8th child, is in the custody of Yashoda, which Vasudev had personally done that upon the request or the order of the Supreme Lord. And everything was happening as per the divine prophecy, which happened at the time of Vasudev and Devaki's marriage. Now, why did only the 8th child was transferred, right? Because there was a plan of the Lord. Why not the first child, why not the second child? So those children were supposed to be killed because, again, we have read multiple stories in that connection. So basically, nothing can happen without the will of the Lord. And Kamsa has to be killed by the will of the Lord, by the 8th child. So it will happen. So what's the use of keeping ill feelings towards Kamsa? Great souls forgive others. Forgiveness is a great quality, forgiveness. So we should also not consider others' mistakes very seriously. If we can't forgive others for their mistakes, how can we expect God to forgive us for so many countless mistakes I have done? Right? Doer is human. So forgiveness is a great quality. To be compassionate, empathetic, forgiving, kind, caring. These are the divine qualities. And great souls are certainly have those. Vasudeva and Devaki were free from anger. Bhagavad Gita has tens of verses about anger, that the anger is gateway to hell. Anger is Mahashno Mahapapma, is the biggest of the enemies. So harboring or keeping ill feelings is certainly not a quality which devotees have. Especially in this day and age, Lord Chaitanya and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityaṁ Prabhu, they came, Mar Khai Prem, they the one who tried to kill them, they gave them love of Godhead. Chakai Muda. What to speak of ordinary souls. So, this is about forgiveness. So let's see what words he spoke. He now refers to Vasudev. Now Vasudev is going to speak. Anyone who didn't get a chance to read yesterday can read today. Text 26. Yes, Prem Sankirtan Prabhu, want to read? That's what.
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 26. Evam etan mahabhaga jatha vadasi dehinam agyano prabhavam di shapareti gida jatha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O great personality, Kamsa, only by the influence of ignorance does one accept the material body and bodily ego. What you have said about this philosophy is correct. Persons in the bodily concept of life, lacking self-realization, differentiate in terms of this is mine and this belongs to another. Purport: everything is done automatically by the laws of nature, which work under the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no question of doing anything independently. For one who has put himself in this material atmosphere is fully under the control of nature's laws. Our main business, therefore, should be to get out of this conditioned life and again become situated in spiritual existence. Only due to ignorance does a person think, I am a demigod, I am a human being, I am a dog, I am a cat. Or when the ignorance is still further advanced, I am God. Unless one is fully self-realized, one's life of ignorance will continue. Hare Krishna. So here we can see that we know that in Bhagavad Gita, the one of the famous slokas is Prakrite kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvasya ahankaro vimuratma karta aham iti manyate. Let whatever good, whatever bad we do, everything actually either under the direction of Krishna directly or indirectly through his material nature we do, good or bad. And one who is above those duality. So duality means good or bad, or successful or unsuccessful, or cold or hot. Once who becomes out of that duality, that is the perfection of our life. And that actually starts from very beginning. As Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta always says that if 1 + 1 is 3, then everything becomes. So it starts with that, who are we? It starts with that spirit, we are the spirit soul. And then, so, I can say for myself, starting from very early childhood, I didn't get that, even in the schools and everywhere. So that's what the problem is. The realization, I am this body, I am from that country, I am from that society, they are become very much substantial in our mind. And it's very difficult to get out of that. And here it is, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that designation is so much influencing in our thought, in our every action. So that's my understanding from this. Fortunately, coming to getting the association with the devotees, getting into this Bhagavatam group, very slowly I can see that it creating some influence, but again, it's very, very difficult to get out of that, the designations. Hare Krishna Prabhu, back to you. Please.
Thank you so much, Śrī Caitanya Prabhu, for your deep realization and speaking from the heart. There are multiple verses in the Bhagavatam which talk about the same point. This is one from the Canto 7. Shri Prahlad Maharaj is telling his friends, "Oh, my friends, sons of the demons," nice way to address, in the material world, even those who are apparently advanced in education have the propensity to consider this is mine and this is for others. Ye mera, ye iska. This is mine, this is others. That's what is being told by Vasudev also, last line of the translation. Person in the bodily concept of life, they differentiate in terms of this is my family, my community, my country, my religion. So it has to be great because I am born in this family, so this family has to be great. Because I am born in this country or community, so this has to be great. And that often leads to fanatism. That often leads to this is not a sign of good intelligence. Intelligent person understand that the real master, proprietor, enjoyer, and the Lord of all lords is Krishna, and everyone is a child of God, whether black or white, Indian or American, red or blue, rich or poor. They are free from the Dehatmika Buddhi. Dehatmika Buddhi is considering body as the self. So they're always engaged in providing the necessities to their families in a limited conception of life. I need to take care of this family because this is my family. Just like cats and dogs also do. They are unable to take to spiritual knowledge. Instead, they are bewildered and overcome by ignorance. Prahlad Maharaj says in 7th chapter, 7th canto. Even one more verse which was coming to my mind in this connection. Janasya moho yam aham mameti. Aham mameti. This is me. This is mine. I, me, and mine. On the basis of this misconception, which is attraction to male, female, which ties together the hearts of the male, female, one becomes attracted to the body, home, property, children, relatives, and whatnot, wealth. And just the illusion continues to grow in terms of I and mine. So, same point is being discussed here. I am demigod, I am rich, I am poor, I am a doctor, I'm an engineer, this property belongs to me, right? This car belongs to me, I'm the enjoyer. And we forget God, we forget Krishna, we forget that I am just a tiny instrument. What did I bring when I was born with me? How many degrees, how many dollars, how many cars did I get, and how many of those things will I take back, right? No, everyone knows that theoretically at least. I was hearing a class in this connection that it's not that people deny, right? No one is going to deny in the world that they will take wealth with them. Like no one is, or at least majority of the population, everyone knows that when they die, their bank balance does not go with them, right? Their degrees will not go with them. The number of houses, the number of cars, the number of whatever dollars or other forms of investments they have, or material investments will not go. Everyone, 90% of the people at least won't deny, right? But what's in other ways, there, Sadhanath Maharaj was explaining that they are denying that because they are not living by it, right? Theoretically understanding that this is not going to go with me, but practically working on using majority of our energy to get more and more of those, which is not going to go with me, and spending our energy in less time and energy of the things which will go with us, that is bhakti, Bhagavan, bhakta, seva, is so that we can see, but how much priority one gives to what. That's the litmus test, So in short, we should give more priority. And that is how we show our sincerity to Krishna, to Guru, to Vaishnavas, by prioritizing Bhakti and Bhagwan. Thank you. We'll read the next verse, which is text number 27.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Swataji, please.
Pranam everyone, all Krishna Srila Prabhupada. Text 27. Shoka harsa bhaya dvesva lova moha madanvitaha mitho gnanantam na pasyanti bhaver bhavam prithak trishaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Persons with the vision of differentiation are imbued with the material qualities: lamentation, jubilation, fear, envy, greed, illusion, and madness. They are influenced by the immediate cause, which they are busy counteracting, because they have no knowledge of the remote supreme cause, the personality of Godhead. Purport: Krishna is the cause of all causes, sarva karana karanam. But one who has no connection with Krishna is disturbed by immediate causes and cannot restrain his vision of separation of or differences. When an expert physician treats a patient, he tries to find the original cause of the disease and is not diverted by the symptoms of that original cause. Similarly, a devotee is never disturbed by reverses in life. Tatte nukampam shushami kshamanaha. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10.14.8. A devotee understands that when he is in distress, this is due to his own past misdeeds, which are now accruing reactions. Although by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these are only very slight. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti vajam. Brahma Samhita 5.54. When a devotee, under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to suffer because of faults in his past deeds, he passes through only a little misery by the grace of the Lord. Although the disease of a devotee is due to mistakes committed sometimes in the past, he agrees to suffer and tolerate such miseries, and he depends fully on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he is never affected by material conditions of lamentation, jubilation, fear, and so on. A devotee never sees anything to be unconnected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Madhavacharya, quoting from the Bhavishya Purana, says, Bhāgavata-sevayā asya virodhat darsanam prithaka prithak drishti sa vigneyo natu sad veda darsanaha. So here, in the translation and purport, in the translation, the sloka, the translation, Vasudev is speaking to Kamsa, and here Prabhupada in the purport is explaining that persons who are not Krishna conscious and who they are actually mainly affected by different reactions in their material life. Like general people, like myself also, when I had some trouble in life, then I'd get distressed, and but after coming to the Krishna consciousness, now it's improving. I'm improving myself not to be too much affected by the causes what's happening. And here Prabhupada also mentioning about a pure devotee, and in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 we read about the Sthita Pragya. The Sthita Pragya, the pure devotee, they do not lament with anything, and they are not suffered with any kind of happiness or distress. It's like they are reluctant of all those happiness and distress distress, and the Sthita Pragya Bhakti. In Bhagavad Gita we read, and also in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srivas Thakur, very exalted example, but it came in my mind that Srivas Thakur, when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan at his house, his son died, but because he doesn't want to disturb the kirtan jagya, that's why he did not say anything to Lord Chaitanya, because he was a Sthita Pragya, he was a Mahatma. So that's the example, like how when the Supreme Person, when a devotee, a pure devotee, depends totally on Supreme Personality of Godhead, they do not suffer with any kind of distress in their life, and whatever they are getting in their life, they think that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead's that the desire or their past deeds. So back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a beautiful purport verse. You know, for any problem, this happens in the outside world also. There is something called root cause analysis, especially in quality, because this is kind of my profession also in some way, that if there is an inequality problem, or if there's any defect or anything, there's a problem, we should try to understand the root cause of it, right? And there is something called kappa, corrective and preventive action. So corrective action is, let's say someone got corrective action is to immediately restore the problem. But the preventive action is, how can we address the problem so that the problem is not repeated in future, right? Otherwise, we will keep doing corrective actions. So similarly, a person who is intelligent will understand, why am I suffering? Will analyze, why am I suffering? Someone will say, oh, because I'm poor, that's why I'm suffering. That means, if that hypothesis is correct, that means all the intelligent or the rich people should never suffer. Someone will say, well, I'm born in this country, so I'm suffering. That means that people who are not born in this country, they outside this country should all never be suffering. So that means those hypotheses are not correct. Correct? That assumption, basically, hypothesis means assumption. So that assumption is not correct. So what is the real cause of suffering? Then one person either will take shelter of the Guru, right? Like Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna took shelter of Guru when he was in complete suffering state. And His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu mentioned the beautiful statement that in the state of confusion, and when we don't know what's right, what's wrong, in the state of indecision, we should make the decision to take shelter of Guru and Krishna. I like that point. Because the Guru and Krishna are Tattvadarshi. They can help us, they can guide us. So, the root cause of all suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna, as per the Shastras. The root cause of all suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna. Krishna bhuliya sei jeev anadir bahir mukh, atev maya tare de samsar dukh. That's the root cause. Not less money, not this job or that job, not this country or that country, not bachelor or married, not the age, not the color of the skin, not anything else, but the forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. And seeing things is separated from Him. So less intelligent people who are always disturbed, they don't see the hand of God. Or maybe they see, oh, in the times of difficulty, they will see the hand of God. Why did God, do this bad thing to me, right? When they get a nice bonus in the company, they will not see the hand of God. He'll say, well, I did so much hard work, I really deserved it. But if the child gets sick, oh, my child was so innocent, he didn't deserve this, why God did this to him? Dukh mein simran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi, jo sukh mein simran kare, to dukh paye ko hoy. In the time of difficulty, some people, not all, 90% don't even remember that time. Some people remember God, but devotees who are servants of Krishna, like Prahlad, he was always seeing the hand of God. Mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mare. If Krishna, you want to kill me, what can these people do? And if you want to protect me, what can these people do? Right? He always sees the hand of God. Whether things are favorable or virodhad, darshanam prithak. So Madhusara is quoting this from Bhavishya Purana, in Bhavishya Purana, that he is never affected by material conditions of lamentation, jubilation. These are the extremes. Nirdvanda bhava Arjuna. These dualities, lamentation, hankering, happiness, distress, shoka, harsha, bhaya, dvesha, lobha, moha, all these are different kinds of dualities. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, you should become nirdvanda. That means become free from the dualities of life. And that's why we are here. In our physics, we may have studied these sine waves, right? Way back, sine waves goes like this, right? This is life, right? Vipul Prabhu can tell this better. Life, what is it called? ECG, or goes up and down, right? So, but then and someone's maybe going through more deeper, higher crests and troughs, right? Right? That means Kamsa, like at one point he is quite happy, at other point completely opposite. But devotees also go through this, but they have I don't know all those things. So there is some kind of thing which is called, like, I forgot what that really is called. It helps to gradually, dampen the waves, right? So right now we are here. So gradually the waves, the crest, and this is basically Krishna consciousness. Anyone remember what that was called? I forgot what that thing was called. Consider this a separate diagram, right? So we put some kind of filter, the filter of bhakti. So the same crest and troughs in lives will appear to be much smaller. It's not that Arjuna did not go through ups and downs in life. It's not that Mata Draupadi did not have ups and downs. But because the presence of the Supreme Lord, it's like they would raise themselves. The example given is that when we see let's imagine a big, multiple acres of rose garden, right? A garden full of roses, 5 acres, big plot of land with roses. It will be very big, right? But the same rose field full of roses, when we see from 10,000 feet high, or it will just appear maybe like a dot. The field size has not changed. What has changed is our proximity. When we get closer to Krishna, our proximity to material things, naturally we go far away, right? Either we can be close to Maya or we can be close to Krishna. When we come close to Krishna, then we are naturally far from Maya. When we are close to Maya, we are far from Krishna, right? So that's a choice between Maya and Krishna. So That's the formula to overcome dualities. That's the formula to overcome ups and downs. And we'll always see the hand of God. Arjuna was grateful in difficult times also. Mata Draupadi was grateful. Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru. Bhavato darshanam yat syat apunar bhava darshanam. Very, very highly elevated prayer that, oh, that may more difficulties come in my life. No one wants to pray like that. No one can imitate, no one should imitate like that. But that was her level, that when you are present, my Lord, I could, in the time of difficulties, I could remember you with much more eagerness, hankering, right? So may more difficulties come. Of course, we cannot artificially imitate it, but at least understand the mood of great souls. Because they are equipoised. Prahlad Maharaj, so much difficulty. So that's a formula to always remember Krishna and see the hand of God in whether good or bad circumstances. Always remember Krishna or forget Krishna. Any other comments, thoughts anyone has in this particular text? Questions, anything?
So, Prabhuji, there is a story. I forgot the name of a great devotee in Puri. Actually, Lord Jagannath went with him to steal jackfruit. Remember the name? So one time he became sick, and so sick that he is on the bed and making all nature skull on his bed, and Jagannath's coming and cleaning himself every day. Then he said to the Lord that, why are you cleaning me all the dirty things every day? Why don't you make you again feel better and take my sickness away? But Lord Jagannath said that I want you to purify from your all reactions and come back eternally. So Lord also wants us our all sins to be washed away by all our reactions and then go back to Him.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ro. Very powerful.
Actually, that story I heard slightly differently in a class. And it said that Lord Jagannath says, actually, this is my sense gratification to serve my devotees. Haribol, back to you.
Very well. Thank you. Wonderful. So we'll read the next one. I see Devaki Mataji has joined after long. Maybe there was some kind of miscommunication, or maybe I didn't communicate properly.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
The time zone has
Hare
changed,
Kṛṣṇa.
Mataji.
Yeah, I didn't know. I lost track
Sorry.
finally. Luckily, I got it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
No, it's my bad.
Every day I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. Luckily, I got it today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What's the time in your country?
It was 4:15. Yeah.
So it's like even 1 hour further back for you, right?
Yeah, it's fine, Prabhuji.
Because you are so sincere. Thank you so much.
No, because I want to complete this because of your mercy only, Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Jai Śrī Caitanya. Please read, Mataji.
It's 28. Hare Kṛṣṇa, sir. Shall I read?
Yes, do you see my screen? Please read.
Yes, text 28 na Prabhuji.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Kansa evam prasannabhyam vishuddham pratibhashitaha Devaki Vasudevabhyam nugyato vishadgriham. Translation by His Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Sukdev Goswami continued, this having been addressed in the purity by Devaki and Vasudev, who were very much appeased, Kamsa felt pleased, and with their permission, he entered his home. After you, Prabhuji, I can't comment on that. I missed a lot. Sorry.
much, Mataji. Just to give a background, the 8th child now is Krishna is in Gokul. The girl child, which Vasudev and Devaki Vasudev had swapped, Durga Devi. Kamsa tried to kill, but there was a big message from the Durga Devi to Kamsa that you're trying to kill children, but your Kal has already born. And then Kamsa spoke many verses, trying to be apologetic and regretful for what he had done. And then finally, these last few verses were spoken by Vasudev. And then finally, they're kind of like, they both are okay. Vasudev and Devaki are okay, we forgive you, that's fine. That's being addressed in purity by Devaki. Basically, there's, okay, you're fine. Then he goes back, entered his home. He basically here means Kamsa. Kamsa goes back. Prasannabhyam. He was appeased. He was pacified. Because that's what he wanted. He was begging for forgiveness. And in short, Vasudev and Devaki knew that, Vasudev certainly knew that the person who's going to kill Kamsa is there in Gokul. So, kind of, they are like saying bye here. Now let's see what happens next.
Okay, thank you, Devaki.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
just interesting. He apologized and they also they were also fine with whatever his sweet words are. And then he finally entered his house, but he did not relieve them completely, right? They are still in the prison house. So just thinking, they're still in custody of Kamsa.
No,
Is that correct? Or?
That's actually not correct, because we read in the previous verses that he himself, text 24 says that Mochayami asa nigdad, Mochayam, right? Kamsa exhibited this familial affection by immediately releasing them from the iron shackles. So he did release them from they were caught like handcuffs, like all the iron shackles on the feet. If you remember, we discussed in great detail about iron shackles. So basically, he released them. And of course, he had a conversation, because you can't have a conversation, like a positive conversation. You're trying to beg forgiveness and they're in iron shackles. So it may not be explicitly mentioned here that they went to their home or their place, but it's kind of quite obvious that they were no more in shackles or bondage.
Okay. Not even in the prison, probably. Not mentioned, but yeah.
Yes,
okay.
So they pretty much, they went back.
Okay, good. Relief. Okay.
Yeah, that is going to come maybe in the further verses, but they were relieved. Yes, Mochayam. Good point, Mataji.
Just to add one realization. Can I add one realization?
Yeah, please.
So Prabhuji, actually, whenever like I saw thinking why a lot of sufferings in life, and then I remember and recall Radhanath, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He says a few in his lectures that this distress is good. If you have distress, then you will remember Krishna. You will not forget Krishna. Like many people come to the Krishna consciousness from the distress, from the sufferings. So to remember Krishna. And also Kunti Maharani Mahabharata says Krishna, why if you like you will leave, like if you don't stay with us, like if you give us sufferings, then you will stay with us. Otherwise you will leave. Kunti Maharani says, right? Just to share my recollection. Back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, Devaki Mataji, you had a comment?
No problem. I was just saying that it's mentioned in text 24 that they are released now, no? They are released, Devaki
They're
and
released.
Vasudev. Yeah, they are released. They are no longer in the prison.
Yeah. In text 24, it's specifically about they are in shackles. Because they were having this conversation like face to face, because Kamsa is talking and then Vasudev is talking, they're speaking words. Yeah. And then they kind of said bye after both of them were appeased. Yes, they kind of said bye and continued. Okay, one last verse for today. Nikant Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Ravi. Thank you very much. Hare Kṛṣṇa, everyone. Text 29. Tasyam ratrayam vyatityam kamsa ahuya mantrinaha tebhya achastat tat sarvam yad yuktam yoga nidraya. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai.
After that night passed, Kamsa summoned his ministers and informed them all that had been spoken by Yoga Maya, who had revealed that he who was to slay Kamsa had already been born somewhere else. The Vedic scripture Chandit describes Maya, the energy of the Supreme Lord, as Nityaṁ, Durga Devi,
Sarva
Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstitaha.
The energy of Yoga Maya in Mahamaya keeps the living entities sleeping in this material world in the great darkness of ignorance. Yoga Maya, the goddess Durga, kept Kamsa in darkness about Krishna's birth and misled him to believe that his enemy Krishna had been born elsewhere. Krishna was born the son of Devaki, but according to the Lord's original plan, as prophesied to Brahma, he went to Vrindavan to give pleasure to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and other intimate friends and devotees for 11 years. Then he would return to kill Kamsa. Because Kamsa did not know this, he believed that Yogamaya's statement that Krishna was born elsewhere, not of Devaki. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji and Chakrika, for reading. Any thoughts on this text?
Majorly, I think after this, Kamsa was explaining to his ministers that he was saying the person who will kill him is already born somewhere, but not with Devaki, so he's okay. I think he was thinking that he'll be okay and he can kill him without knowing that he is Supreme Lord. Because he is kind of in a Maya, in a delusion that he can conquer or he can kill anyone in this time. That's one thing I kind of got it, Prabhuji. Please add and correct.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Just in the day, right? Just the next day. So it's particularly mentioned here that all this was happening in the night time, right? Is it not? That night, and therefore we fast till midnight during Krishna's appearance day or Janmashtami, because Krishna was born on midnight. So that very night, and it's the specific time is not mentioned, how much time Vasudev took to swap the babies, but maybe an hour or two. So after that, this whole thing is happening at that very night, the peak of the night, maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. kind of time. After that very night passed, just think about, he could not even wait a few days. He could not even wait because he had given like amazing philosophy, right? Just that very night he gave amazing philosophy. Who is to be killed? Who is the slayer? Who can kill anyone, right? But now, when the time comes to application, that after all, who am I who will be killed? I'm not the body, right? I'm the Atma, right? So Kamsa knew the philosophy very well, but look at the application. Practically zero. Is it not? Because he's constantly thinking about it, and he is discussing with his ministers and told him that the child who is going to slay Kamsa or myself is born somewhere. So that's his meditation. He could not even wait. When something is really kind of bugging us in the mind, we can't even wait, or we can't even stop not thinking about it. Is it not? Right? Or something which is very important to us or high priority, we will have a hard time not thinking about it, or we can't stop thinking about it. So Kamsa is thinking about Krishna, and of course in an evil way. Similarly, the great souls like Yashoda, the gopis, etc., are also thinking about Krishna, and they cannot stop not thinking about the Lord in a favorable mood. That's bhakti. That's one lesson. And the other is Maya is one which is not. So Maya puts us in darkness of the real truth. Here the truth was that Kamsa, the Krishna was born there only, but what did Maya say? Oh, he's born somewhere else. Technically, of course, Vrindavan Krishna and Mathura Krishna, in one way they're the same. Of course, Leela different, but the point is the same. So Maya blinds us. Maya blinds us of the truth. Spiritual blindness, right? Like Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana. Spiritual blind helps us to stay in this world. Because that's what we want. If that's what we want, Krishna will say, okay, here's the material energy who will help you to try to enjoy, right? We'll try to enjoy. But great souls, fortunate ones will realize that this is not the real place to enjoy. It's a place of dukhalayam. Then they will take to Krishna consciousness. They may take to Krishna consciousness. Maya will take tests by having some roadblocks, by having a lot of different tests she'll take. But if one proves that yes, I'm really attracted to Krishna, then Krishna will take over. Devi esha gudamai mama dratya mamevya prapadyanti maya vidam tarantite. That person will overcome the material energy, because Krishna says, okay. Zolasashan Maharaj gives this example. He went to his friend's place. He had a big bulldog, right? And he must be very young at that time, maybe 10 years, 8 years, 10 years old. So he went to the father, his friend's father, Maharaj's friend's father, the owner of the home and the dog. The dog was barking. Wow. Big bulldog, 8, 10-year-old, what can they do in front of a big, powerful dog? But when the owner said, hey, This is a safe person. This is my child's friend. Don't bug him. Then the dog was silent. And Maharaj was relating that this dog is the owner's dog, referring to Maya Devi, who is Krishna's servant. When Krishna will see that this child is approaching towards me, then Krishna will tell Maya Devi, don't bug this person too much. No, this is coming to me. I will take care of him. Okay, now you don't need to worry. You worry about those who are trying to run away from me, those who don't want to take shelter. You keep them in darkness. You keep with your trident, keep giving them adi bhautik, adi devik, adi atmik kleshas, miseries caused by one's own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by the different natural and adi devas, etc. This is the Maya's role. Any comments before we wrap up for today? Any questions?
Prabhuji, one thing I forgot to ask. They said 11 years. Is there any significance of the 11, Prabhuji?
Significance of 11? I don't know if there is any significance of that number 11. That's the time he came to basically away from Mathura, Vrindavan. That's the time he kind of came to Mathura. Of course, we know that Krishna never comes out of Vrindavan, but the Mathura Krishna or Dwarka Krishna leaves Vrindavan at that time to do his pastimes. Now, why is it 11? Why not 10? Why not 12? I don't know that, if there is specific connection of that number 11.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Anyone wants to add anything specific to that 11 number? Okay, yeah, if we come across or if anyone gets to know, you can please share with everyone. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyaiva cha, Pattanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.